Come get your money. Pay like carp fishing with Donald Barrow.
Hey, it's Donald Barrow. Getting ready to make some rice tonight. Uh, I've got 2 weeks before my fish off, actually, less time than that. This weekend, I'm fishing Alice, and the next weekend is our carp masters fish off, lake tournament, whatever you call it, championship. You know, and if you've ever had a bad night fishing, you can now. Uh, there seems to be a trend with me lately. Uh, my bean, I'm buying beer at the store. I'm going through a lot of bean, so I'm buying a lot of beer. And this is about the fourth batch of malt liquor rice that I've made, uh, and I like it. And I swore off rice this year, but the couple of times I've made it, uh, it's worked all right. When I say I swore it off, I wanted to experiment and use different stuff. Oats. I never was an oats fisherman. I never was a grits fisherman. I was a rice fisherman and bean. And I've always used bean, but this year we just concentrated on that, and we did pretty good. No complaints. So I've got 40 ounces of beer. I warmed it because that's what I do these days. I warm the beer. It works better. And then I'm gonna throw in the flavor. Uh, kind of a kind of went back on what I said I was gonna do. I was gonna make red magic the way Drew makes it in or Dre. I'm not sure what it makes it in Georgia. I have an old recipe of his, and I was going to make the rice that way. But to be honest, I was dying to try it. I wanted, and I just didn't even think about it. I don't have this on camera, but I threw this stuff in, made it into malt liquor rice. And I know that's not the way he makes it. I don't know him, so maybe he does make it now. But this is J.D. Drake, the wrestler in South Carolina, sent me this recipe. We talked about it. And last weekend at Carlton's was probably the first time all year that I was in a spot that I've always fished it with rice. I hadn't fished that spot in 2 years. And I said, rice worked then. I'm going to use it now. And honestly, it worked so well we didn't use much else. I know I made chow, wonderful grape chow, and I never threw it. I made bean, the bean that I've been killing it with. At the end of the night, since there were some buffalo being caught and it was driving me crazy, all I'd caught is Jello, is I put together a bean and chow mix. I just grabbed the third bucket and threw both in, mixed it together, and threw it out to the rope. And I took a nice yellow, and then I missed a buff. And I was just late to getting there. By the time I swung, there was nothing there, and I just blame me for being old and slow. Uh, Bottom line, it was a rice night. Oh, I poured the red magic in here, and I've been doing this more and more. I stated in one of my last rice videos, you don't, you know, for years I would just put the rice in the bucket, throw in the dry on top, throw in the liquid, and just mix, mix, and mix, and it turned out fine. But I'm a real fan, and especially the more you do it, the more you can make less mess. I should be mixing this in the bucket, but uh, I warmed the beer in this because there was, I warmed up let's see, 36 ounces of beer. I warmed up 40, took away 8. So I guess that's 32 if I could do the math. 32 ounces of beer. Yeah, that's right. 32 ounces of beer. I put in I think four caps of Red Magic. Red Magic, I wouldn't say it's overly thick. It isn't, but did well in rice. I made this, so now I can recommend this because I used it, so I can make it. This worked. It worked awesome. If you're at a lake where rice worked, and not many people were throwing rice, but I know, I'm not going to say his name, but a guy who's doing really well was throwing rice when I fixed next to him a couple weeks ago. So I made some rice, and we did well. We did well. I won a spot and lost the big one. Losing the big one was totally my fault. It was just something I never did before. My brother-in-law hooked the fish, and he's running down the bank, and the line alarm is just bouncing, and I'm seeing him bouncing. So I went over. Usually when I hook a fish, I just out of habit, I pull off the line alarm. So I went over and yanked that to pull off the line alarm. Well, it was wrapped around the line. That's why it was acting goofy and banked. Never seen that. And I just yanked it, and the line just snapped on a nice fish. And I just looked at him. He had fire in his eyes, but he didn't say anything, and I appreciate that because I had just royally screwed up. My fault. Well, you move on. We had a great night. We had it look like a storm. It was going to hit us. It didn't. So all was good. Throwing in the dry. Let's see. Throw in. I'm just going to throw in 3 ounces. Last 2 times I've made this, the rice feels a little sticky to me. I got to be honest, the rice was a month old because I've been on this oats jag, and it's been working, and so I haven't been using much else. Oh man, I didn't realize how red the Jello, red strawberry, I should have guessed. You know, this is 3 ounces of Jello. The only thing to watch out for, because the boxes are too similar, is they'll put 0 sugar, a little thing on some of these. That's the big thing to say sugar-free. Are sugar-free if you're buying a generic one. These were on sale. It doesn't matter what brand. Just strawberry Jello. I've used them. I've used Walmart's, and around here it's Food Lion and Piggly Wiggly, and you name it, Publix. Wherever you can buy it the cheapest. And but when you use Jello, you could just use sugar, because the Jello is just the sugar that helps bind the rice. I make soda rice. It has a lot of sugar in it, so less Jello. And like I said, you can just use sugar. I would use about a half a cup, because this Jello's plain sugar. Go from there. If you don't have to match it. The last time I made this, I didn't have strawberry Jello, so I went with grape. I believe that Red Magic is strawberry grape, and something else. I can't tell you what it is. I don't care. It's Red Magic. It works. That's all I need to care about. So again, flavor I didn't say it, but flavor depends on you. But I can honestly say, and I'll put it out there again, just because, why not? It's Wicked Red Magic. Don't cover the label, Donald. Wicked Red Magic, and this stuff works. Probably could put a couple more cups. I use the caps. I usually do from 4 to 7. I'll go a little light. Yeah, because if it works, I'm going to make another batch next week. And just decided that the lake I fish is a strawberry lake. So other strawberries that I could use and might use. Last year it was strawberry chrome, and that did me right quite a few times. So I'd have no reservation doing strawberry chrome. I did something in strawberry pie. I believe it was grits, and that worked good. So I have no doubt that strawberry pie would work great. Any strawberry, really, but there are little differences. I was on a quest a couple of years ago. Years and years ago, I used Superior like everybody else, and then I went through the R&W brands and the Bubba's and you name it. And it's funny, you settle on, and it all just depends on the night. When you catch the most fish, then all of a sudden that's the best strawberry. The only other factor is, and I didn't mention sinful strawberry. I like mixing in sinful strawberry. I have a little bit, but I don't want to waste it. This coming weekend is a testing weekend for me. But you have to be careful with like the sinful grape and strawberry. Sinful grape in chow, wonderful. Sinful strawberry in rice, you're going to have to fool. And I'll be honest, I can't tell you how many caps. I wasted a batch of rice with it. I was mad because I wasted the strawberry because it works in a lot of other stuff. It works in bean real well. So the next couple of times I always mixed it. Pour in a lighter strawberry like maybe this. Well, I wouldn't put it in Red Magic. That's already a mix. But strawberry chrome, the strawberry pie, and throw some, a cap, 2 at the most, of simple strawberry, and you get some red, really powerful flavoring. I'll be honest, well, I probably won't do that because I'll take sinful strawberry, which is one of my favorite dips. And if you don't dip, I can certainly understand because it's a miserable business. I wear red fingers and I scrub my fingers Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning when I get home. In the morning when I wake up, I scrub them again. And Monday I'm scrubbing on them again because you just basically pour the sinful strawberry into a small jar or container and you dip your pickups. But the worst thing is I'll dip the ball. And you got to be careful because if you dip a ball into sinful strawberry or sinful grape, that ball starts breaking fast. So, yeah, I can't help myself. I'll dip the ball in and I'll grab the bait and keep it packed tight in my hand, then throw it. So what I end up with, besides the red fingernails, red hand, red grips on my nice rods, my yellow line looks orange because the red and the yellow, and down the spool for the first 20 yards, it's a funky camouflaged mess. But the reality is it works. It works great. And so if that's what it takes to catch fish, I'm coming home with red hands. Bottom line. Cup of salt. I'm using a lot of beer in my recipes. The delineation is in the rice recipe. I use malt liquor. I haven't used regular beer. I use malt liquor. That's what JD told me to use. And it works great, so I haven't changed it. One of these days, and almost today, I was going to use regular beer. Somebody brought me a 40, and I had asked of Miller Highlight, and I was going to use that. And I just ran out to the store real quick and bought the malt liquor. I'll use the Miller Highlight in the bean. That uses regular beer. I usually use Ice House for the high alcohol content, so I'll mix the beer. All right. I'm stirring this for no good reason, just because I talk a lot. But I got everything in. I put in, it's stuck. I put in a cup of salt. Salt is twofold. a buddy of mine says, you know, he puts salt in a lot of stuff that you normally don't put salt in. And I said, what are you doing? Your grits, your oats? Yeah. He says, carp like salt. And I can't debate that. The salt is done on purpose to, it basically keeps the rice from spoiling. You know, that's what it's there for. It's like a preservative, or I don't know the correct scientific. You salt a lot of things to keep it cured, I guess is the word, but I doubt it's curing that is doing that to the rice. There's probably a scientific, somebody would probably know why. I just know that's what it does. That's what I've been told it does. And to be honest, that bait that I used was a month old, and it was like I made it in that morning. It packed beautiful. It caught fish right off. I didn't even have my rods all the way out, and the buzzers were going off, and we caught just as well or better than most people Saturday night. So how can you complain? I'm pouring this in the bucket because it's going to mix up easier. That's the other thing I've done over the years. I've never did it this way, but I had a buddy show me at the lake that he would pour his grits, and he'd pour his liquid on the bottom and then pour his grits over like this, and that gave it an even distribution. So, I put my thinking cap on and said, what if I made my rice that way? Would it be better? Maybe. I don't know. It's now my habit. It's the way I do it, and it works. It works for me. My recipe called for 28 and 36 ounces of rice. And so I poured 8 ounces in a cup on another box and 28 ounces here. And I got my rice. And I'm going to stir and do some more stirring. I'll leave the recipe one more time in the comments. I hope to edit. In fact, I was going to shoot this in 4K and I didn't. But my new editor should support it. So my next video, maybe we'll do it in high res. I don't know how close you want me to be in these videos. Probably not much. Try to stay back a little. But I've been blessed with a lot of cool people I've been meeting. Met the Hodges brothers. I met Lynn and his brother the last couple of weeks, and Andy. And I met quite a few people, and I am horrible with names, but I remember their faces, and I really appreciate they remember me from these videos. And I can't thank people enough. And please, if you see me at the lake, come by and say hi. I'm gonna hibernate at Atlas this weekend, and maybe if the lake's open, do some fun fishing. I think I've let people know the fish off's important to me. Probably way too important than it should be. There's some other charity events upcoming. I hope to fish, and it's just great to be out there. The weather could not be better. So if you're up north, sneak down before it gets crazy. If there's rain in the forecast, then there isn't in the next 2 weekends, come down anyways. Because if it's raining in the Piedmont, western North Carolina, it probably isn't. You can find a lake. And you don't want to miss, the greatest weather. Fish are biting. It's a good time to be in North Carolina fishing. I'm not saying it's not good in South Carolina or Georgia. I just don't know, but I know North Carolina's ripping. So get down here. I wrote a post about, I didn't even talk about the pig flipper pickups. Uh, I've been dipping them, and for no other reason is like in Sinful Strawberry, the pickups stay on, and I have some plain ones made by Pig Flippers and Wicket, and I grabbed some extra packs I saw because those work, and I just take regular ones, older ones that you know I haven't used before, and I just dip them and they work. You know, the strawberry creams work. The red hot grapes. It's not. It's just hot grape and hot berries, pineapple VBN. All those flavors. The pickups are working great for me. I talked a lot about hooks on my last video. I'll just say that somebody was trying to say how much money you're going to save tying your own hooks, and you can order the offshore hooks. They're not as good. Maybe there is a brand out there, but the ones I've ordered, and I've ordered a lot of different brands, they don't hold up, they bend, and I miss fish. And I've been using mud pigs and Wicket hooks pre-tied, and I gotta say, you can, they're using owners, they're using the G-Carp, whatever, Gamaguchi, or however you say it, and other, the top brands that you've used, and they're tying. And some guy was showing me, oh, hi, why don't you just buy the owner hooks or whatever? And I looked online, and you could even buy those hooks for a decent price. And so I'm not saying you're saving money, but I've got to tell you, it is an extravagance buying pre-tied hooks. There's not that much difference. There's not that big a saving. And if you can have somebody pre-tie those hooks, and your confidence just goes up. And they're the top brands. And if you don't like one, you haven't bought 100 of them, so you grab a different one. Both Ron Matthews and Thomas Bailey are going through and tying them, or having their tires, or Thomas ties, tie the very best stuff that guys use, and it's made a difference for me. I'll just put it like that. Whether you believe me or I'm showing for a company and I'm not here, I've just had real good luck using those pre-tied hooks. So if you see them at least test them. That's all I got to say. My rice is stirred. Next step is I'm going to pop this lid on, and actually I'll probably stir it a few more times when I get off. Really stir it. Leave it alone. The last couple of times, I'll flip the bucket in an hour, but then I'll leave it alone. In the morning, it'll be set up, and then the plan is put it back in that green bucket that I poured the fluid in, and then I'm going to take the hand mixer and beat the heck out of it, and that fluffs it, and then you're good to go. I think I spent, the last time I made this, it was ready in 24 hours. It might have been sooner, but it was perfect to me 24 hours later. So overnight, it was a little wet for me. This batch could be different. I used less sugar. I did. I used less Jello. Might change it a little bit, maybe not. But 8 hours later after I got off work, so overnight plus 8, 18, 20 hours, it was perfect. So it's Wednesday night. I could in a pinch fish this Thursday night. Friday would be Supreme, and I'm going to fish it Saturday night. So there you go. Uh, Wicketed, what do we call this? Malt liquor magic, red magic. So look for a video, and this is the videos. Like and subscribe. Yeah, if you haven't seen the video, look for the video. Peace and love. See you guys.
I hope you enjoyed my video. Please like and subscribe. And thank you. Appreciate it.